Welcome back, Catamounts. Hope you've enjoyed the long-needed winter break. I'm Lorelei Noyes.
And I'm Thomas Newsom. This is your campus news presented by WeTV and Catamount Entertainment.
Welcome back. How'd you spend your break, Thomas?
Oh, just catching up on sleep, catching up on projects I was working on. How about yourself?
Just the same. Sleep, projects, sanity.
Have you been on a drive through Main Street recently? If so, you may have seen the for sale sign in front of Jackson's General Store. Since 1999, the business has been open in downtown Silva and will finally close its doors on January 24th. The family-owned business will be closing its doors due to the owners of the building deciding to sell the property.
More than 100 students, faculty, artists, and community members gathered on Friday, January 16th at UNC Asheville for a student-led walkout in opposition to the university's plans to develop 45 acres of forest on its South Campus. The land is being used for the South Campus project, including a 5,000-seat soccer stadium, a child care center, retail, and market-rate housing.
WCU's polling site has been closed following the decision made by the NC State Board of Elections on January 13th. Jackson County was amongst a dozen election board counties that did not reach a unanimous agreement with a 3-2 vote, with the Republican majority voting to close WCU's polling place and the Democratic minority voting to keep it open, moving the decision to the State Board of Elections. The other colleges included in this Republican State Board of Elections decision to close the polling places include North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University, Elon University, and the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. The State Board made the final decision to move the polling place to the Cullowhee Recreation Center due to its well-known location, parking availability, locations for campaigning, and accessibility to voters. While the move has been finalized by the State Board, this does raise concerns for students' accessibility to the voting site.
And now Ryan Creel brings us tips when renting in student housing apartments.
Moving into an apartment complex can be a rite of passage for college students. Getting your own space and being able to live with friends outside of campus is great, but it also comes with some drawbacks. RAs become the least of your worries. Now you're dealing with something worse: landlords. They're known for trying to take whatever money they can get from you and relying on you not knowing the rules, so here's a couple to help you in the future. Number 1, before you sign the lease to the apartment you want to move into, be sure to read all of it. Yes, it's obvious, but there have been a lot of cases of people getting caught in bad leases because they haven't read the lease and they don't know it all the way through. Once your name hits that paper, you're legally bound to it, so know what's in it. Number 2, when you first get moved into your apartment, make sure you document any changes you find so you aren't liable for them when you eventually have to move out. I have this weird texture on a door that I can't explain, but since it was there when I moved in, I'm not liable for it. Number 3, speaking of not being liable for something, normal wear and tear aren't something you can be charged for. Worn carpet, faded paint, scuffs on the walls, etc. Landlords might try to take your security deposit because of them, which is why it's important to know that you can't be charged for those. Number 4, landlords are legally allowed to enter your unit, but there are some caveats they have to abide by. They have to give you 24 hours notice. They have to enter at a reasonable time. This is going to be around 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And they must be there only for the reason they mentioned in the notice. And 5, when you move out, the apartment complex has 30 days to return your security deposit or send you an itemized bill detailing the expenses it covered. If the apartment complex fails to meet this requirement, then congratulations, you are legally entitled to getting your security deposit back. And I mean all of it. These are just some key points you should know if you're looking to rent an apartment for the next year. There's more you should know, but if we covered everything, we'd be here about all day. Just be sure to read up on all the rules. I'm Ryan Creel. I'm here with WeTV. We'll see you next time.
Coming up, national news you need to know.
We'll be right back after the break.
Hello, I'm Jacoy Bell, and welcome to the National News Desk, and here's your news from around the country. Verizon experienced a nationwide service outage on January 14th, affecting an estimated 2.3 million people. Customers reported not having any phone connection, phones automatically going into SOS only mode and only allowing them to make 911 calls. After Verizon's apology on the social platform X, many users expressed their frustrations. Some even threatened to switch to a different service provider due to the incident. The military carried out an operation to remove the president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, on January 3rd, following the strikes on the capital city of Caracas. Both Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, were captured and brought into custody. A senior Venezuelan official told the New York Times that an estimated 80 people, a mix of military personnel and civilians, were killed in the strikes carried out in Caracas. Maduro and Flores pleaded not guilty to charges of drug trafficking, money laundering, narcoterrorism, conspiracy to commit narcoterrorism, and corruption during the trial on January 5th. They are currently being held in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York. The next hearing is set to happen on March 17th. Protesters took to the streets around the nation on the weekend of January 10th and 11th in opposition of the Trump administration's immigration enforcement tactics, following the death of Renee Good. Good was a local woman who was shot multiple times by an immigration enforcement officer, Jonathan Ross. Her death sparked an outcry in Minnesota and around the globe. Protesters cited video evidence and claimed that she may have been trying to defuse the situation and leave the area after immigration officers approached her car. Video evidence shows an agent ordering her to get out of her car while reaching through an open window. She is shown briefly reversing, then turning in the opposite direction of Ross. Good was then shot 3 times by Ross while she was still in the car. The Department of Homeland Security released statements saying Ross acted in self-defense, claiming that Good weaponized her vehicle and attempted to run an officer over. Following Good's death, demonstrators took to the streets in a nationwide protest called Ice Out for Good. Thousands of people showed up to the Ice Out for Good protests in several major cities, including Washington, D.C., Minneapolis, Portland, New York City, Atlanta, Chicago, Los Angeles, Philadelphia, Durham, Charlotte, Houston, and many others. President Trump has imposed retaliatory 10% tariffs on 8 NATO allies as tensions rise. He's threatening to raise them to 25% in June if he does not have complete and total control of Greenland by then. FBI agents searched the home of a Washington Post reporter on January 14th as part of an investigation into a government contractor's handling of classified material. The reporter, Hannah Nantenson, had spent the past year covering the current administration's effort to fire federal workers and redirect the workforce toward the president's personal agenda. Attorney General Pam Bondi said the search was made at the request of the Pentagon with the intent to find evidence at the home of a journalist who was obtaining and reporting classified and illegally leaked information from a Pentagon contractor. Federal agents searching a reporter's home is extremely rare, even in classified cases. The Privacy Protection Act of 1980 generally prevents search warrants for a reporter's work materials unless the reporter themselves is suspected of committing a crime related to the given materials. This has been your National News. I'm Jacoy Bell, and back to the desk.
And now for our health report.
There have been reports of measles spreading across western North Carolina and the surrounding counties of Buncombe County, Polk County, and Cabarrus County. The North Carolina Department of Health has reported at least 11 reported cases as of December 2025, as well as 3 newly reported cases. This has been the most reported number of cases since the fall of 2024, when there was one reported case. All of the current cases are within the ages of 17 and younger, with 64% of them being unvaccinated or unaware if they have been vaccinated. Most of these reported cases consisted in Buncombe County, as the total was raised after 2 unvaccinated siblings were reported with it, causing 100 people to quarantine after being exposed at school.
The symptoms of measles are very similar to a regular cold, being a fever, cough, runny nose, and watery eyes. Though measles can be more dangerous because after a few days, a rash will appear. And if you're pregnant or a younger child, then you're more likely to experience higher health complications. Measles is a very contagious virus that can take anywhere between 7 to 14 days after exposure to show symptoms, and even take as long as 21 days for symptoms to start showing up. Measles has made a comeback all over the United States, with over 1,000 reported cases worldwide, with Texas being the epicenter by the end of 2025. If you have not been or are unaware if you have been vaccinated or possibly exposed, you can schedule a time to get the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine with the Jackson County Department of Health by calling 828-586-8994.
Up next, Jack McBrayer with weather tells us about the upcoming weather for next week and safety tips for the predicted storm that will hit our area.
Just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us.
Ready!
That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu. And especially this year, no one has time to get sick. Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
Right here, baby. Look. Oma.
Noah. Something more than a birthday is happening here. Once you can see it, you can help. The sooner you recognize the signs of autism, the sooner you can make a lifetime of difference for your child. Start by answering a few simple questions at screenforautism.org.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Every day,
Millions of people are connecting
and even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together.
we should still make an effort.
We should still make an
to
effort.
get to know each other,
on a deeper level.
Father,
cosplayer,
Mentor.
actor.
it's time we take a step forward
It's time we take a step forward.
Come together.
and discover
How accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
Good evening, Catamounts. I am Jack McBrayer, and today I'll be telling you your upcoming weather for this next week. So on Friday right now, we'll have a high of 47, a low of 31, and an average of 38, with it being mostly cloudy. But as you can see here, getting into Saturday, we're going to have a snowstorm start pulling around, and that you need to pay attention to any emails that Western Carolina officials send out, because it'll have safety tips, advisories, and any information you need to know about the upcoming storm if we get it, because we will have around 10 inches of snow possibly drop and fall, with a layer of ice that will make it unsafe for anybody to drive in. So make sure you keep an eye on that and pay attention. If you have running water, keep the faucets dripping so the pipes don't freeze over, as well as make sure you have non-perishable food items on you so you don't have to cook just in case the power goes out, and have flashlights, batteries, anything you may need just in case power goes out, because the surrounding schools around us have been closing down slowly. But after that, getting into Sunday, we will have a high of 46, a low of 34, and an average of 39. Still sunny, still unsafe, so make sure you're prepared and have everything you may need for that. And getting into Monday, we'll have a high of 39, a low of 9, and it'll be 21 on average, so make sure you have your jackets for that one. But it will be mostly cloudy, some sun, might warm it up just a little bit. And getting into Tuesday, we will have a high of 38, a low of 8, and an average of 23. Sunny, so might feel a little bit warmer. You might need your jacket still, though. And getting into Wednesday, we have a high of 31, a low of 12, and an average of 20, mostly sunny, clouds. And then finally getting into Thursday, we will have a high of 21, a low of 8, and an average of 14. But it'll be sunny, so that is your weather for this upcoming week. Make sure you stay safe with a snowstorm out there, and make sure that you stay bundled up because it's going to be a cold week for everybody. But that's Jack McBrayer with the sports. With the weather, and now we'll take it to the sports with Dom and Chap.
Dom and Chap with sports.
Hello, Catamouts. I'm Dom Sayani.
And I am Chap Chappell, your voices for Western Carolina sports. I hope everyone is having a fantastic start to this brand new semester.
Indeed, Chap. Now, let's waste no time and get right into things, starting off, or I should say tipping off, with some Catamount basketball. The Western Carolina men's team has been on a bit of a roller coaster of the season so far. Since conference play began around like New Year's Eve, the Cats have been both having highs and lows. The highs include impressive wins over conference leader Furman as well as rival ETSU. The lows have been blown leads against the Citadel and Chattanooga, have left the Cats at a 6-11 overall and a 2-4 record in the SoCon. Looking to find some consistency, the Catamounts hit the road this past Wednesday to take on the 13-6 Mercer Bears. The Cats struggled out of the gate as Mercer jumped out to a 13-0 run and took a 41-24 lead into halftime. Western Carolina tried to rally late in the second half, knocking down 9 three-pointers and shooting 55.3% from deep after the break. A bright spot in that loss was Julian Samaro, eclipsing 1,000 career points. However, it wouldn't be enough as Mercer pulled away for an 88-76 victory. The Cats now sit at 6-12 overall and 2-5 in conference play. Western Carolina returns home this Saturday to take on VMI with tip-offs set at 3:30 p.m.
And now on the women's side of things, it's been a tough stretch for the Catamounts. This past Saturday, Western Carolina went on the road to face SoCon foe Furman, hoping to secure their first win of the new year. The Cats came out strong, taking a 26-18 lead into halftime and threatening a major upset. Unfortunately, that momentum didn't carry over. Furman dominated the second half, outscoring Western Carolina 51-12 and cruising to a 69-38 lead. Taj Hunter led the Catamounts with 9 points. The losses dropped the Cats into 0-7 in conference play and 3-15 overall. Western Carolina is back in action this Saturday with a home doubleheader against Chattanooga with tip-off scheduled for 1 p.m. Now jumping over to track and field, or I should say running over track and field, Western Carolina continues to shine. Lexi Durban has been named the SoCon Women's Field Athlete of the Week, marking the second straight time this week that Catamount has earned weekly SoCon honors. Last week, Ian Hicks and Colton Weaver received the same recognition. The Catamounts had a strong showing at their most recent meet at Middle Springs, North Carolina, claiming 5 event wins and 24 top 5 finishes. Durban finished 4th in the weight throw with a personal best toss of 15.78 meters, the best mark in the SoCon by over a full meter. Up next, the Cats compete at the ECE Banked as Best Invitational on January 30th at the Tryon International Indoor Facility, followed by the Darius Dixon Memorial Invitational in Virginia on February 13th and 14th before heading to Lexington, Virginia for the 2026 SoCon Indoor Championships on February 27th and 28th. Congratulations to Ian, Lexi, and Colton on their outstanding achievements.
You know, Chap, it's getting a little interesting. You know, like, we're talking about Western sports, but we obviously got some football still to be played, and I think, you know, Championship Sunday is around the corner. And I think we're just going to go over to that. So let's talk about some NFL. Championship Sunday is set. The days kick off with the AFC Championship as the Denver Broncos are going to take on the New England Patriots. Denver will be without starting quarterback Bo Nix, with kickoff being set for 3 p.m. only on CBS. Later, the NFC Championship features the Seattle Seahawks hosting the Los Angeles Rams. Kickoff is at 6:30 p.m., and you can catch it on your local Fox network. These winners will advance to the Super Bowl 60, set to take place in Santa Clara, California on Sunday, February 8th. Keeping in NFL news, we got some coaching news to talk about. The Atlanta Falcons have hired former Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski. Former Falcons coach Raheem Morris was let go after back-to-back 8 and 9 seasons. Stefanski went 45 and 56 in 5 seasons with Cleveland, making the playoffs twice and earning a postseason win in 2021. Closing out this segment is WeTV's Athlete of the Week. This week's honor goes to Catamount track and field standout Lexi Durbin, who earned Southern Conference Athlete of the Week recognitions. Congratulations, Lexi, and as always,
go Cats!
Stay tuned for Jacoy Bell with our special guest.
And, oh goody, another week hook with Julian and Ryan. We'll be right back after this break.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Do you have prediabetes? North Carolina residents with prediabetes can enroll in a free or low-cost national diabetes prevention program. Trained coaches are standing by. Get started now at joinaprogram.org.
Roll over. When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique.
And your mother.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
Good to have you back, Catamounts. Why don't we switch from sports and take a look at what the arts are up to?
Do you or a friend like arts and crafts? Consider becoming a vendor for the Greening Up the Mountains Festival in downtown Silva. While the festival is not happening until April 25th, festival officials state vendor applications often fill up by mid-February. If you or someone you know is interested in selling their handmade wares, visit the Greening Up the Mountains website at www.greeningupthemountains.com to download an application. Applications are due March 15th.
Man, all this news is making me hungry.
Hi, Hungry. I'm Thomas.
Speaking of food, let's see what Julian and Ryan have cooking up for this week for We Cook.
Preheat the oven to 350. For the recipe, you're going to need something to grease up the pan, so I'm going to be using olive oil. You're going to need 3 overly ripe bananas. You're going to need some semi-sweet chocolate chips. We're going to get some sugar, some vanilla extract, some eggs, some butter, all-purpose flour, the salt, and the baking soda, and then that's all you need. Grease up the bread loaf pan with the olive oil mentioned earlier. You just need a little bit to go in. Boop. You're going to soften up the butter a little bit by putting it in the microwave. You're going to add your softened butter to the mixing bowl. There we go. You're going to add 3/4 a cup of sugar. All right, now you cream them together. You're going to take your banana, you're going to mash it up with a fork. This is the consistency you're going to want with the bananas. You're going to add them on in, and then we're going to crack 2 eggs in.
Ryan, this is the moneymaker.
Voila! After adding a cup and a half of flour, and then half a teaspoon of salt, and then 1 teaspoon of baking soda. We're gonna add this into the rest of our batter. You're gonna stir on low, but the lowest setting on mine is broken, so we cover with a paper towel so we don't get splashed with flour. Half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then we add chocolate chips to your heart's desire. I'm gonna start mixing and see how well it blends. We're gonna go this way just so it doesn't spill. Into the oven for 55 to 60 minutes.
Now you have plenty of time to clean up the mess from the floor.
I don't think this is working out.
Dude, what do you mean? What do you mean this isn't working out?
Dude, I don't know. I'm just not feeling the same passion for it.
What do you mean you're not feeling the same passion? People love We Cook.
Yeah, that's
people live
great.
for We Cook.
I'm glad
This is the
people
only
do.
reason
I'm
people
not
turn
living
into
for
these
We
new
Cook.
kids.
I'm not living for We Cook.
What do you mean you're not living for We Cook?
I'm just like, I got all this other stuff going on, man. You know, I'm at like a different point in my life from when we started. You know, I'm like, we're graduating in 6 months. You know, we can't be doing We Cook forever. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's just not hitting the same.
Why don't you just sleep on it? I think you're delusional. You just
okay.
Lock in, man.
All right.
Lock in.
All right. I'll sleep
Lock
on
in
it.
up
I'll sleep
here.
on it. I'll sleep on it. Okay. I'll go sleep on it.
It's not time for sleep, Ryan. It's time we cook.
You said to sleep on it.
Forget about that. Come on, it's time we cook.
It's 80% done. It's too late for an intro.
Once you take it out the oven, you'll have this nice and beautiful golden brown right here.
Ryan, I'm standing right here.
Oh, stop you. Oh my goodness.
He likes to eat.
No. That's good. That's good. You have a bite right here. Come on.
To the left. To the left. Mm-hmm. Golden brown. I know my stuff.
A recipe so good, there's nothing left but crumbs. Oh, sorry, didn't see you there. Thank you for joining us for this episode of We Cook. We'll see you next time.
And now, Jacoy Bell with our special guest, Professor Laurencio Ruiz.
Hi, I'm Jacoy, and I'm here with
Laurencio Ruiz.
How long have you been a puppeteer? And
Oh, long time. Yeah, I'm 60.
really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I wouldn't have guessed.
So I started making puppets since I was in college. But I was making puppets for other people.
Mhm.
In the same time I was doing my college degree, and by the way, it was nothing in theater, nothing in puppetry, it was in graphic design. So, but after my first year, I was invited to work in this amazing TV show.
Mhm.
And from that, they call it Witty Witty, which in English is the blah blah. So this is back in Mexico City. So I started working in this TV show, and then in some point we need to make puppets. And then from that, more people start coming because they say, "Who made these things?" So I start making puppets for other theater productions, for TV commercials, and so on. So but everybody was like, "Hey, can you make something for me?" But I never did for myself. It was until when I finished grad school in 2001, I decided to take a break, and I said, I really want to do puppetry. I think poetry, they had this beautiful connection with audience, and for me, puppetry mesmerized people, and for me, it's a beautiful space. Or as I said before, it's a safe playground for me as a puppeteer and for the audience to explore new realms, things that can be odd and weird and bizarre, and puppetry allowed me to do that. Then the audience don't feel treated by that, right? So even it's weird, they still are engaged to know what it is. So for me, that's why I started doing it. And for me, I see also puppetry as a therapy. So I started doing it for myself, especially because all that happened after September 11. I didn't know how to talk about it, how I feel about what happened. And puppetry allowed me to do that. So that's why my first show was based on that.
And why did you decide to come to Western to grace us with your talents?
Oh, here, well, just happened. So one of my new faculty, Lorena Sandoval, contacted me because she was looking for some advice about making a puppet for a show. And then during the conversations, she said, "Hey, Laurencio, why don't make it the way that you can come and you made the puppet?" I said, "You designed the puppet, I made the puppet." So and then yes, so she sent me the schedules and the director's concept, and for that I started working on a new design for the show. So yeah, after that, during that process, which was very short period of time, they learned to suggest instead to give it the advisor, they said, "Why don't make it?" And we talked and said, "Sure, yeah, let's do it." At the same time, what about don't take advantage of your visit and to do 2 workshops? I said, "Yes, I am." Right.
And what goes into acting with the puppet and also trying to act as an actor on stage?
Okay. Yeah, one thing we talk about it is, so the puppet becomes an extension of you. Always I said, it's as I said before, this is not product, it's not custom, but I see it as almost like a music instrument, right? So it's personal. You don't share with that. So always I say the combination between a music instrument and a toothbrush. So you don't share it, but you learn how to bring the best you can with this object, right? So, and also becomes an extension of you. So no longer you projecting your energy for yourself. So now you have to project this energy and to translate it to the puppet. So the puppet is speak for himself from you. So in keeping that in mind, so that means we had to think in a very different way. So even the distance between, how do you react? So many things that we have to go step by step to see, because sometimes they think like it's moving something very fast, right? And it's not that, it's not like that. So always I said, everybody can be a puppeteer and anything can be a puppet. So that's why I really, really believe in that. When you are able to bring this beautiful music for this object, for this puppet, you disappear. And when that happens, it's magical. If the puppeteers, they came to the workshop and they say, "Laurencio, I know what you mean. You disappear totally, right? I'm there with the puppet." But in the way we move it, you bring this object to life with emotions, with some personality. Really, it's amazing in theater. We have said this convention, this theatrical convention, that this belief, right? Yeah, you are there, but now it's the object who takes the focal point, right? It's beautiful to see because when you are on the other side, you see the audience eyes goes off.
Thank you for bringing people together. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for your work here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. And I'm Jacoy Bell. Now back to the desk.
You know, me personally, I'm really excited to see another amazing production put on here at Western.
Yeah, it looks like it'll be good. I'm excited to see it. Well, I'm out of paper, so that's probably all the campus news we have for you this evening.
Please be sure to check out our next newscast to stay up to date on all your campus news, and make sure you stay warm and safe this weekend. And as always, go Cats!